I could not be more excited to be in an Integra Type S. I've been really looking forward to driving this because personally I feel it was going to be the car that, like, does it sit right below the Type R? Is it a step back? And potentially, is it the one to get over the Type R despite it costing about $6,000 more? And that's if you can get them at MSRP. So I have it in individual mode right now. There's 3 different drive modes. There's Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus, and then there's individual. I have it in individual because on the road I feel that it's too jittery to have it in the most aggressive suspension setting, so I put it on comfort suspension, and it's just incredibly fun to drive, and you don't have the wild spoiler that the Type R has. And the Type S is also a step back technically as well as visually, meaning that the Sport Plus mode in the Type S is the sport mode of the Type R. So it is truly dialed back. It's developed by a totally different team at Acura. They're not built in the same factory or anything like that. It really is its own car. And yes, it shares the same chassis and powertrain, I get it. It does have a little bit more power, has 5 more horsepower. It has a better exhaust. It doesn't have one of the filters up front that the Civic Type R has, so because of that, you get pops out of the back. I would not change this exhaust. It sounds incredible. You get all these little pops, even at low speeds, even when you're not driving hard and you let off the throttle, it sometimes pops in between shifts, and they're subtle. It's not that rice rocket garbage that the tunes that people put on their car that absolutely ruins them. The tire width, 265 on the front and back. It's running Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. It's just great. I mean, it's excellent. It does have 4 seats, not 5. The middle seat's not usable in the back. There's no seat belt there. There's just cup holders. It's a hatchback, so you fold these down and you have access to the trunk. There's just a trunk cover on there right now. But it looks really good. It has the bronze wheels. The tires are gum bands around them. I mean, there's no rubber there that's like actually there to protect the car, but it looks excellent. It has fender flares, and the fender flares in the front are actually part of the bumper, whereas in the rear of the car, they're like stuck on with adhesive. But in the front, they're legitimately part of the bumper. The bumper's been redesigned to give it that wider look and to house those 265 width tires. So they've done an incredible job, and what I like about this over the Type R, and what the Type R has been missing since it came out, was a nicer exhaust sound, and Acura absolutely did it. Now again, what I tell you over and over is, do not pay over MSRP for these. Like, it's ridiculous that they're marking these up like they are. They are gonna hold value very well, and I know a lot of people say 50,000 is too much. It's really not. Because if you look at all of the other cars in this segment, this is actually undercutting them, and you get a much more exciting car. You're looking at like the BMW M235, you're looking at a Mercedes CLA 35. When you compare it to those cars, are they nicer on the interior, maybe more luxury features? Yeah, I'd say so. But this is very nice, first of all. It's no slouch in that department. It's just, the materials, like the leathers, aren't quite as nice. These seats are very comfortable yet sporty with the Alcantara suede down the middle of it. I don't know if it's Alcantara or suede. I'm pretty sure Alcantara is very expensive and everyone just assumes everything's Alcantara, but I'm pretty sure it's some type of suede material. Also, nonsense detail to get worried about. I do have rev matching currently on. You can switch that off if you want to. The car does have to be in park for you to switch that off. I like to have that on when I'm driving normally. Even on these canyon roads, it is nice. It's nice that you can switch it off and let it blip the throttle for you or not. But it just, for driving a manual transmission, if you're going to be dailying this, that's just one more thing that makes driving it better. If you get in traffic or something like that, that's just gonna make your experience much better with it. So I like that they have that feature. I had a 2018 BMW M2, which if you're looking for an M2, that's the best one to get of all the M2s ever offered for various reasons, but that's the one to get. So the other issue is with this, you know, an M2, like I'm talking about, like a 2018 N55 M2 costs approximately 50 grand, has more horsepower, it's rear wheel drive. They're both great looking cars. I'm not gonna say one looks better than the other. They both look really good. It just brings this $50,000 price point, while I don't think it's too much, it does bring other things into the equation. And because it's front wheel drive, and look, there needs to be a front wheel drive king, and the Type R and the Type S, those are the kings and the queens, okay? And I don't know who the king is, and I don't know who the queen is, right? And maybe they're both queens, and maybe they're both kings, right? because we don't know these days. You need to have front wheel drive cars, and these are excellent. Like, they're very planted. Where you lose is on, you know, if you're on the street and you're at a red light, yeah, you're gonna have a tough time. You're gonna be, the car's constantly grabbing for grip. But when you're driving on roads like this, like me behind a trailer right now, that's when the fun, you don't really, it's when you're, after you get going, you don't really care that it's front wheel drive. You don't really notice. They're really well tuned nowadays. I just absolutely love the way this thing handles. We're just gonna push this thing on these canyon roads, because I know when you're shopping for these types of cars, you're constantly looking for content of them just driving so you can hear it and experience it. Or maybe you have one on order and you're trying to live vicariously through someone on YouTube, so you can use this video for that. I do have some track experience, so let me talk you guys through it. Maybe some of you guys can help me out here. So when I've been with a professional driver, like about 4 or 5 times, in turns, you're not braking or on the gas. We're gliding through the turns, and then upon exit is when you want to get going. I guess you don't ever want to be like braking or accelerating through the turns. It just slows you down. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be taking the perfect apex out here, but thoughts on that? Let me know. Currently in 3rd gear. Yeah, I like the option of rev matching, because if you're an amateur driver, which most of us are, it gives you the ability to focus more on the road and not necessarily on your footwork, and then you have the ability to turn it off and get better at it whenever the time calls. But it's nice to have the option. Just listen to that. I mean, it really feels like, I had a 2011 Civic Si with the K20 Z3 motor. It feels like that, in the sense that it revs so high. It sounds like it too. And that's another great car to get. All right, little GoPro on the back so you can hear the raw exhaust sound. Every time I hear that ding, it sounds like taking off on a Southwest flight. Well, hopefully that doesn't fall off. I hope this video is helpful to you guys if you're shopping for an Integra Type S. Now, if you're shopping for a Toyota Corolla Morizo edition, you're going to want to watch this video right here. That'll be very helpful to you in your shopping process for that, and you'll probably just enjoy the video because you get to hear a 3-cylinder turbo, which is pretty rare.